Make ban on Chinese wildlife markets permanent, says environment expert.
Here's a summary of the article.
A temporary ban on wildlife markets in China to curb the spread of coronavirus is not enough and should be made permanent, a prominent Chinese environmental leader has told The Guardian. The national ban means the trade of wild animals will not be allowed in markets, restaurants or on e-commerce sites until the coronavirus outbreak ends, Chinese officials said on Sunday. Zhou told The Guardian, this temporary ban is not enough. The trade should be banned indefinitely, at least until new rules are introduced. We have had similar diseases caused by illegal wildlife trafficking, and if we don't ban the trade, these diseases will happen again. The temporary ban has put the spotlight on China's poorly regulated wildlife trade, which is driven by the country's appetite for traditional medicines and exotic foods. Dr. Christian Walzer, chief global veterinarian for the Wildlife Conservation Society, said the temporary ban was an important first step in making China's wildlife trade permanently illegal. The current wildlife trade ban will have no impact on curbing the spread of the virus, according to Professor James Wood, head of veterinary medicine at the University of Cambridge. Stephen Galster, founder of the anti-wildlife trafficking group Freeland, said, China is to be congratulated for taking such a bold move to ban the wildlife trade, and we should encourage China to keep this ban in place permanently. A sustained ban will save human lives, and contribute to a recovery of wildlife populations worldwide.
This post received a score of 51,458, with an upvote ratio of 93%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Pretty broad definition of seafood.
The markets are actually illegal. The problem is enforcement. Local governments don't care enough to shut down these illegal markets. In the case of the one in Wuhan, the market was very close to the city's main government building, which a lot of people find ironic.
China can make them care. This shouldn't be nearly as controversial or emotional as when they implemented the one-child policy through local governments so long ago.
Whatever you can think of, there is a soup for it.
Rule 34.
But for soup. Number 34.
Menu 34.
Happy Cake Day, good little bot. I don't know if people really tell you that often, so I hope this'll make your day a little better. Smiley face.
What a good lil robot.
Lol, good luck with that. When we can't even get them to stop genocide and concentration camps, I don't have much faith in closing down wet markets. TBF, it's probably pretty difficult for their government to somehow spin being repeatedly the site of novel, dangerous diseases as in the national interest, given that the victims mostly aren't members of readily marginalized minorities, and most of the citizens aren't picking their food selections from the random encounter tables of the Dungeon Master's Guide on a regular basis, so it's not impossible. The population is aware at least that SARS was a thing, and now this, and they might want it to actually stop at some point.
I laughed at your DM guide tables. Thank you for that.
D&D seems like it's everywhere now, it's awesome.
The whole nerd culture is getting very entrenched in mainstream. There is an old Big Bang Theory where Penny doesn't know who Stan Lee is. That wouldn't happen in post-MCU world. That got me thinking of what hasn't been brought to mainstream yet, and figured out that Warhammer 40k is possibly going to become big sometime in the next 10 years. And what do you know? The showrunner of The Man in the High Castle is currently developing a TV series based on the Eisenhorn novels. Fingers crossed.
Wallethammer $40,000. You know, the cost of the minis suffers from a price tag that will still exclude most of us.
How about we start out by banning concentration camps?
Ah yes, China will care so much.
I see no reason for China not to be hit with harsher sanctions than North Korea. INB4 money is the reason.
Not saying they shouldn't, but the reason is money. When you sanction NK or Iran, the trade you lose is minimal. What kind of trade would you lose sanctioning China? Also, it's easier to convince other countries to abide by your sanction when they won't lose much, but how do you convince others to sanction world's number 2 economy?
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.